Hello, friends and gamers, and welcome to the Fortress. My name is Jinx. Today is a very special day. Today is Tournament Day. The Summer Offensive 2022 has arrived, and it will be a fun-filled weekend. So, Summer Offensive 2022, hosted in Prince George by Sky Marshall and General Hand Grenade. There'll be two tables there, Table Hood and Table Bismarck. Table Hood is hosted by General Hand Grenade, and Table Bismarck is hosted by Sky Marshall. It'll be a fun-filled weekend starting Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and whatever we need to do Monday. Award ceremony, finish up the game, eat the last-minute snacks, whatever it is, before we all go our separate ways. So it should be a fun-filled weekend surrounded by great companionship with great experienced players, surrounded by an amazing board game with a fantastic miniatures, map, and just all around generally fun experience. So it'll be a lot of fun. Last year I attended and I played as Japan. I really enjoyed myself. And this year I'm attending as well, playing as USA, KMT, and France. For me, I wanted to play France because I want to play, for me, that was the clinching matter. It's like, I don't mind if it's playing the Commonwealth in France or the America as France, but I want there to be France. So I'm playing as France and America and KMT. So for me, I'm trying to tackle this like strategic problem of trying to survive as France. One way or another, there's going to be one game. I mean, there has been one game, but it was against a more novice player where I survived as France. So I want to try to survive as France, if at all possible. Now, that's always the goal in any game, so this is no difference. I'm going to do my best to survive, or at the very least, take out a significant portion of the German military. That's my goal in this game, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out quite nicely. So I'm going to be playing as America, France, and KMT. And of course, there's going to be strategies for all three of those, different ones I want to do. And let's talk about what the game allows in this game. So one of the problems that we discussed prior to the game starting was, should we throw in any house rules into the game? We're playing a vanilla game without any expansions, but should we throw any house rules that certain things that players have to or may, have to do or may not have to do, certain things like that. Like for instance, should it be that Germany always has to declare war on Denmark and capture Denmark? Because sometimes that can be kind of an exploitative feature where they don't do that, and that thereby kind of locks certain things from happening, right? For instance, Britain could never go invade in Denmark and then go invade navally into Eastern Germany, Prussia, and that kind of thing, right? That's one of the things is, should Germany be forced to do that by house rule? Or should Germany be forced to invade the Netherlands? Because sometimes Germany just doesn't do that, and then the Dutch East Indies stays neutral, and then the Japanese can pick it up at their leisure, right? So that's one of the other things. Is that a little bit gamey or not? And that's kind of on the lower fringes on the spectrum of gaminess, but then there's more gamey stuff the further out you go. And the question is, where along that line do we fall? Do we want to say, look, whatever the rules permit, we do? Or do we want to simply say, this isn't allowed, and this stuff over here, right? Where should we fall in that spectrum? And that's a difficult question to answer sometimes, is knowing exactly how to play, especially in a tournament structure too. Is like, first of all, do you want to give away your strategy and say, hey guys, look, I was thinking about doing this strategy. Is that something you would allow? I know it's gamey, but is it something you would allow? And now you've given away your strategy. And so everybody says, okay, yeah, maybe you're allowed to do it. But now they're planning for your strategy to occur, right? So you don't want to give that one away. It's just like that Slovakia problem that we have in version 3 is like, if you include that optional rule, then you're probably going to want to play that optional rule. So why even bring it up, right? Because they're going to account for it if it doesn't happen otherwise, right? So one of those weird kind of problems that we sometimes have in the course of this game. So where do you fall on that spectrum? Should we house rule certain things into the game where certain things have to happen or can't happen? Or do you say, okay, whatever the rules allow, we will do? I don't remember if I finished my thought, but sometimes it is like you ask a person, hey, is this strategy allowed? And they tell you yes, and now they anticipate it. Or sometimes you don't ask the group and see if it's allowed, and you play 6 turns into the game, you've been building towards a strategy, and suddenly they say, you know what, that's a little bit gamey of a strategy. We're not too happy that you did that. And then what do? Do you take back a few turns and try to compensate for that, or do you just play through it and knowing that this might have skewed the game one way or another with people being unhappy? And now you have the issue where some things have been house ruled against the Axis, but now the Allies have come up with a strategy that we didn't realize we should have outlawed until the time had come. You don't really know, and so now it's kind of the unfair playing field where the Axis have a disadvantage because they couldn't play house rule, and these guys, or they weren't permitted to do something because of house rule, but the Allies, because they built up for it for 6 turns, and now they have the situation, weird stuff like that. So we decided collectively, Yeah, let's just play everything that the rules allow, whatever the rules allow, whatever gamey potential strategy you could think of. If you want to play it, play it. If it seems to be to your advantage to win the tournament, win the game, do it. And fair enough. I like that mentality because it's really hard to know what I might consider somewhat gamey, somebody else might not. For instance, well, I don't want to give too much away, but what about if Italy geared itself up with a naval transport fleet and parked right outside of London, right? Ready to go. Is that allowed or not, right? It's one of those weird situations that you don't really know exactly what to do. You could knock out the British. It's one of those tough situations to know exactly what to do. And so we thought, look, let's leave it up to the designers of the game to correct things for version 4 if they feel like it needs to be corrected. And we'll simply just play version 3 as written, and then next year we'll play version 4 as written and keep playing that. So that's the idea behind the game. Unless it's covered by errata or FAQ, then we're simply going to play version 3. And so that's the way it is. So some of the things that we might see might be a little bit out of the ordinary. Personally, around my game table, I probably wouldn't allow certain things from happening, or wouldn't allow certain things to happen, just because I like to kind of keep it within some realm of historical plausibility, let's say, where Italy wouldn't just give up on keeping a hold of its continent and moving away. Like, there's an argument to be had there that Italy could stack up its entire land forces in Rome and move whatever naval amphibious force that they want to go and hit London. That is an argument there as well too. So it's one of those things that I would probably limit a person in my game to a bit, but in the tournament structure where you don't want to give away your strategy and you don't have time to discuss all the possibilities and you're unfamiliar with who's bringing what to the table from different play groups and different strategies they come, we just widened it out and said, everything is allowed, and we'll see how that goes. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, just to let you know this is what's happening. Now, some of it too is going to look a little bit strange, like, is that a little bit funky to do that? That's just the way it is, right? Next year we'll play something different and it'll be a lot of fun. So that's all I want to say in regards to this, in regards to what we're playing. For optional rules, it's all going to be fairly standard. I wish I had it printed out here, but the standard stuff that we see around most tables. Last game I played on YouTube Wars, we basically looked at the optional list of rules and says, let's try to play everything we can unless we are opposed to it. And so that's what we did. This time around, we're playing something a little bit more narrowed down. So all the terrain feature rules, nothing too special in regards to like, if you capture this shipyard, you capture these ships, nothing like that. We're playing basically the stuff that you see standard around all tables. So that's what it is. Now, for myself and coverage of this event, I'm not going to do too much, frankly, because last year I spent, well, last year I didn't play well. I wasn't a great player in regards to being, well, I approached it too much as I wanted to put material out there on the internet. I wanted to document it and keep an eye out on it. So I didn't do my duty as to getting enough sleep. That was a big thing. So I would leave Saturday morning bright and early. I would leave at 2 or 3 a.m., drive all night, get up there and play 12 hours of a board game. And then visit with my wife in the evening, when we get home at 9 or 10 p.m., get to the hostel, and 9 or 10 p.m. in the evening or till midnight, and then spend a couple of hours making a video and then charge back at the game the next day. And I ended up burning myself out quite fatiguely. It honestly felt like I was pretty well drunk, at the end of the night, because I was not making good judgment calls. I said, look, my head's spinning. I actually don't know what I should be doing right now. And so I misplayed Japan and I lost my capital. And so that was player error. Now, everything I'm not blaming it on anything except player error. I should know better, right? So it's one of those things. So this time around, I'm not going to document it as much as I would like to, but I'm also getting a bit more sleep, so I'm going to do a little bit. Now, what I'm planning on doing is putting up some images on perhaps Facebook, perhaps Reddit. You might see it in certain Axis and Allies channels on both those ones, and perhaps making the odd video once in a while if I could spare it. Now, I'm going to spend a lot of time hovering over the board and looking at the map, and that's basically what my plan is. One last thing I wanted to discuss was these prestige awards. So these here are going to be pinned right here is the idea behind that. Now this I'm going to take just for the fun of it, and it demonstrates what I'm playing or what I played last time around. And each year we'll get another bar like this. So this one says I played Japan last time, that my team got second place. You can't quite see it on there, and I don't know, it will probably go out of focus here if I do that. So there's a silver star. I'm playing as Japan. There's a silver star there signifying that the Axis got second place. Yeah. Then we have a bronze medal ribbon right here. I'm trying to get it to focus, but it doesn't. It wants to focus on my face. Then I have bronze medal here with 3 stars. And over here, we have the campaign medal itself, right? So this is year number 1, and this is the campaign medal we have that year. So next year we're going to have, or this year we're going to have a different campaign medal, different number of bronze stars depending on what I do, and different nation that I'm going to play. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to having this and adding it to my collection each year as the years go by. And I think that will be an absolute joy. All right, so that's about all that needs to be covered. I wish my opponents the best of luck. I wish my allies the best of luck as well. I hope everybody has a fantastic time. I know I will, and I really appreciate our hosts for putting this together and organizing it. It's no small feat to put something like this at this scale together, so I really appreciate it all around. So thank you once again, and I will be eagerly anticipating putting out some videos for you, putting out some posts for you, and I hope you guys all enjoy just as much as I will. Cheers, and have a fantastic time.